MC Recovery in the house. Subscribe down there at the bottom. As the title say, many years ago, you remember, what was DOGE really called with its cuts many years ago from our other presidents. So here I found some screens and some information showing that, we've been knowing all along that our government have been doing, extreme spending. Not only extreme spending, but extreme cuts have been made. And you can really say we always get cuts from both sides, but these are like specific cuts that, what's going on with those, the downsizing of the government and these different programs to things that's not readily transparent to us. So welcome to the show. Subscribe down there at the bottom. And let's just take a glimpse at some of the things that really was told to us, but it's almost as if some kind of amnesia or like I said, yes, the other day, it's like we just been hit with something to just numb us out the ideal that we really getting the bang for our vote. So hopefully I don't do a lot of struggle screaming. Here's one of the first ones I wanted to bring up, and it's fair use. It's a short video to let you know how far it probably go further back than Clinton. So before we get started, hit that like button. Do y'all hear that?
And create a government that works better and costs less.
The Reinventing Government, or RINGO report.
Cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
The Reinventing Government, or RINGO report, aims to save $108 billion over 5 years, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
So wait a minute, you mean to tell me that a Democrat made up a governmental agency that doesn't exist called RINGO, just like DOGE was made up that doesn't exist? And they decided that they wanted to get rid of what? 12% of the federal workforce, that they wanted to go through all the bureaucracy and check on what they were spending when they had the Government Office of Accountability. They still wanted to create this.
See? And it's like what she said. So, fair use. Thanks. Just like my screamers and fans does when it see things of this nature, they will send things of these natures to me. Didn't y'all see that? That's Clinton, and that's Al Gore. That's the Gore, and it's with the. So we had an agency that wanted to show transparency, downsize some government positions and jobs. And it's as if they just really didn't pull the trigger. But look how smooth when Clinton was in office, what really went down. The 94 crime bill, 3 strike laws and things of that nature. Food stamp, they said what Welfare Reform Act and things of that jumped off. Women was getting they had to get jobs and trainings and stuff of that nature. So this next video will give you a clue and allow you to really scope of, and give you a flash of the past of what my generation was going through. If you're the millennial generation, this is what we was going through as what y'all are living in. We was going through hearing that it was going to be all these cuts, all these downsides, all these new jobs that we was going to ramp up businesses and the main things that in the 90s, the 2000s, we really used to hear the middle class, it was always like we're going to help the middle class, as if the middle class had a side hustle, side job, and a complete nuclear family. You know, husband, wife, a couple of kids. That was the real that's the real definition that I believe what a nuclear family was. It was 2 or more kids, and somehow the narrative starts changing over the years. Because I remember seeing it right in when I took chemical dependency tests out here in California. So, so it's like that was some of the study material. I don't know if it was in one of the Samson 48 or 49 or Tips book. It's one of those books. Or was it 42? But it was in one of those books what a nuclear family was. And, you know, I believe I seen a video. So, yeah, let me put the light right there. This is more clear. Here's another quicker screen to let you know some more about what happened over 20 years ago. And let me see if I will find that baby. Now that will be real good. And this one matches the thumbnail of what I was talking about. And this one is going to trip you out. And I got to be at the 2-minute marker, but hold on. Fair use. Fair use. Let me blow this out. And man, y'all going to love this. And here's our saxophone player, y'all. Do y'all remember him? President Clinton addressed the nation on the budget plan.
Americans who've joined them in fighting.
Let me turn it up. Somehow.
Fighting back the waters and trying to restore normal life. I'm especially proud that this time the federal government has been fighting alongside the people. That is what we must do on all fronts. We must do more, much more, to turn this country around. And now we have the chance to change. We're on the eve of historic action. This week, Congress will cast a crucial vote on my plan for economic recovery. And a comprehensive economic plan.
Do y'all see that?
There are always places.
Do y'all see how he stumbled? Let's check that out one more time.
This week, Congress will cast a crucial vote on my plan for economic recovery. And a comprehensive economic plan, there are always places for give and take. But from the first day to this day, I have stood firm on certain ideas and ideals that are at the heart of this plan. Tonight, I can report to you that every one of those principles is contained in the final version of the plan. First, the largest deficit reduction in history, nearly $500 billion with more spending cuts than tax increases. Rather than the games and gimmicks of the past, this plan has 200 specific spending cuts, and it reduces government spending by more than $250 billion. We cut more than
$150 billion. Everybody was clapping and applauding back in that day, but let's check out some more.
100,000 positions from the federal payroll by attrition. We freeze discretionary spending for 5 years. We limit pay increases for federal employees. Why must we take extraordinary action now? Well, this chart shows you why. America faces a choice. We can continue on the path of higher deficits and lower growth, or we can make a fundamental change to improve our nation's economy by adopting my economic plan. Now, it won't be easy and it won't be quick, but it is necessary. Without deficit reduction, we can't have sustained economic growth.
Do y'all see that? He came with charts. I mean, you cannot be no smoother than that. Came with a chart with graphs. That's what I'm talking about, man. Man, I mean, like, that was the most smoothest play I ever seen in my life. We're going to have necessary cuts and all of this. But let's hear a little bit more, and it's fair use, and y'all need to check that video out. Check this out.
Economists and business leaders alike warn us that growth will falter if we don't take dramatic steps to tame this deficit, and soon. With so much at stake, it would be irresponsible not to take decisive action. With this plan in place, the economy will grow, and more than 8 million new jobs will be created in the next 4 years.
So did y'all hear what he said? It would be irresponsible not to do these cuts. So why is everyone complaining? Because us as American voters, our dollar has gotten weaker. And this was at least 30-something years ago. To the point of, this is when the Arsenio Hall show used to come on. No one don't remember what I'm talking about right there, but golly. This was like about 30-something years ago. And come on, we would be irresponsible if we don't take these cuts. So now the action has been started. So fair use. Hopefully I learned how to put this link down there at the bottom so y'all can check out the rest. But I'm kind of like feeling that y'all want to just hear just maybe a teeny bit more, and then we're going to get to the next.
Without it, we put the economy and our standard of living at further risk. If we take this important first step now, over the long run, we will see deficits go down and jobs go up. The second principle of this plan is fairness. Those who have the most contribute the most. As this chart shows, we ask the well-off to pay their fair share, requiring that at least 80% of the new tax burden fall on those making more than $200,000 a year, and very little on any other Americans. Not to punish the successful, but simply to ask something of the very people whose incomes went up most and whose taxes went down during the 1980s. For working families making less than $180,000 a year, there will be no income tax increase. I repeat, for working families making less than $180,000 a year, there will be no income tax increase.
Well, so man, I mean, that touches my heart, boy. That really feel like it's going on right now. Like, man, woo-wee. Clinton can really spit it, baby. That boy can spit it. I'm talking about, man. Shoot, boy, that's a smooth talk. Now I see. Well, hey, I ain't like this, but I can see what's going on with Hillary. Hillary didn't have no trust, boy. He macked the pants off of her. So like to get back right on topic, this is just to show you a few of the things that that's out there right in the web. But now we finna check out this next clip, and it's fair as use. So hopefully I can do it right. So far, so good. Let me bring that down. Let me go in reverse. Let me hope something don't say something. And then we're gonna hit this where Obama is around his homies and his homeboys and stuff. So, and you're gonna see Joe and everybody there. So let me blow this up so we can get it started. Get it started.
What I made the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. At a time when families have had to cut back, have had to make some tough decisions about getting rid of things that they don't need in order to make the investments that they do, we thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. Obviously, this is even more important given the deficits that we've inherited and that have grown as a consequence of this recession. This makes these efforts even more imperative. Today, I'm signing an executive order that builds on their good work. It directs agencies to slash spending in each of these areas: travel, printing, IT, because we believe that we can get better results for less using technology. And overall, spending in the areas covered by this executive order will shrink by 20%. And members of my cabinet will keep reporting on their progress to Joe Biden and ultimately to me. And we're going to hold them accountable for meeting this 20% reduction goal. These are important steps that can save taxpayers.
See, so he's about to sign that executive order right here.
Who are behind me here today for taking this project so seriously. There you go.
So what I'm basically saying, y'all, is that it was said multiple times. Not only it was said then, but and it was signed. I'm quite sure Clinton did the same thing. And then and the Clinton one was called the RINGO. This one was up under a website, Recovery.Gov, and it's supposed to have been having transparency. And in order to have that transparency, he put Joe in charge of it. And let's see what kind of job our boy Joe did. Because Joe, he had himself in a situation where you're going to see these signs, like on the thumbnail I put, where it's going to show these different departments and it's going to show the Recovery Department logo. So these was real departments put in place up under the Obama administration. But, was it our fault as taxpayers not to get on them about it, or was it those that we put in place to legislate for our vote? So we need to be mindful. And then some say we may need to put out different coalitions in different states. I don't know. But whatever the strategy is, I know it's like empowerment groups, coalitions, and caucuses, and things of that nature. A lot of individual things happen. So let's get to this. And this one will be fair use. This is the Recovery Act Accountability and Transparency Department coming up. And Joe was in charge of it. Check this out. Back that up. Is you ready? On your march, get set. Let's go.
Thanks. Appreciate it. It's good to be with you, Earl, and I'm looking forward to the tour. The first thing that we did after the president asked me to oversee this almost $800 billion program was go out and decide to find who was the inspector general that had the greatest amount of credibility, and I mean this literally, not figuratively, with our colleagues in the House and the Senate. And that was a real early and easy decision to make, and it was Earl Devaney. We asked Earl to head this up, and I've been proud to be associated with the good work he's been doing and the board has been doing since then.
But what you
we passed the law, the Recovery Act and the law. We did it in the midst of the worst recession since the Great Depression, and we had several clear goals. The first was to save and create jobs for today. The second was to lay a foundation for long-term prosperity tomorrow, and to do it right, to do it well, and to make sure that every dollar was accounted for, and every official who received any dollar, and non-official was held accountable for what they did with that money. To cut out any and all cases of waste and fraud so that the tax dollars would go exactly where the tax dollars were intended to go. Look, folks, this was a difficult thing, as Earl knows, to get this passed. In the midst of a great recession, to ask the taxpayers to come up with another $787 billion in order to begin to revive the economy, we felt was required a most unusual effort on the part of the federal government.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. It seemed like he's pitching us. Well, you know, it seemed like we had a car dealership treating America as if we had some type of car dealership. Well, this is what we've seen. So don't it seem like he's coming up on the point of, I haven't seen this whole video. It seems like he's getting ready to throw some taxes on us or something.
Accountability process that, quite frankly, I think, I may be mistaken, Earl, but I don't think has ever been done before like this. And we hope, by the way, I keep telling the cabinet members as I call cabinet meetings, is that we hope this becomes a template for the future and how to manage government spending. The public placed their trust in us, and we're going to repay that trust with a responsible stewardship that has to do with this historic investment. After more than a year of implementing the Recovery Act, as I said, nearly $800 billion, I can say proudly, not only are we creating jobs across the country, not only are we spurring growth in new and emerging industries, but we're doing it responsibly, accountably, and with real and unprecedented level of transparency. A level of transparency that's never been seen in this town before, I would argue, and I would argue is not seen in most governments. And much of the credit goes to the outstanding leadership of you, Earl, and the Board of Inspectors General, and the men and women of the Recovery Advisory Transparency Board who have tirelessly working to make sure every day we get this right. And as you guys know the saying, so far the dog hasn't barked. Well, so far the dog hasn't barked.
So this is the Recovery Act and Accountability Transparency. Look for it. I don't think he's going to say that. Let me just go up a little bit further.
Calls for very tough action for any recipient who doesn't report. We still need to know where every dollar went and every recipient that got a dollar. And that's why going into the current recipient reporting period, we're required to report every quarter here, which began on April the 1st, the President issued a memorandum directing all the agencies of the federal government, not some, all, pursue suspension and disbarment of non-reporting grant recipients and contractors. And finally, to make both in the public at large and with the press, quite frankly. It's not just jobs saved or jobs gained. It's a realization, but
that's all they have for us. And you know what we say in here when you say but you may be walking up on some fibbing. Now fibbing is one of them old school type of words, like crying wolf. So with that, with that right there, but we saw what happened with like both of those administrations to the left. Wars going down and things had to be started to cool off. We had the 9/11 tower thing. And then we had the Iran and Afghanistan war. And now we back over here where, you know, we're in a new presidency where we want to cease this war. Now, a lot of people love talking to me about crypto. Now, crypto, that's not really my topic. All I know is that the government wanted things to be regulated in the area, and one of these crypto agencies, they have a bounty on, I forgot the name of it, but if anybody knows, could you put it in the chat or DM me, a bounty on if anybody can crack their server, because that's a crypto-based company that, you know, they can't seem to get past their walls. So they have that is ongoing, I believe, from each well, you know, from the last time I heard the news. And until then, you know, this is your favorite ref, MC Recovery, right in the house. Let me look at my papers because sometimes I be bouncing out and I be forgetting to explain stuff. So the upcoming show, I'm going to talk about maybe, hey, I'm going to speak on these tariffs because Trump already done signed something for the auto thing on the tariff. And that's always related to the, well, it's related to some foreign cars, but also to bring back those steel jobs to our country. Until then, keep coming back. Recovery works, whether you're here or not. Until then, so what those two, so for the last 30 years, we are finally up to a point where someone was brave enough to take action. That's basically what